Captain Mannering.
Now, I'm going to have a word with these prisoners.
You can't speak.
He played, including Captain Mannering.
Now, I'm going to have a word with these prisoners.
You can't speak any German, can you, sir?
They'll know by the tone of my voice that I'm in charge. They recognise authority when they see it. Yeah. You better come with me.
Yes, boss.
Now, patient!
Oh, I say, they're awfully well disciplined, aren't they, sir?
Nothing of the sort. A slavish, blind obedience. Not like the cheerful discipline of our own jolly Jack Tars. I tell you, Wilson, they're a nation of automatons, led by a lunatic who looks like Charlie Chaplin.
How dare you compare our glorious leader with that non-Aryan clown?
Oh, look here.
I am making notes, Captain. And your name will go on the list. And when we win the war, you will be brought to account.
You write what you like. You're not going to win this war.
Oh, yes, we are.
Oh, no, you're not.
Oh, yes, we are.
Whistle while you work. Hitler is at work. He's half army, so's his army. Whistle while you...
Your name will also go on the list. What is it?
Don't tell him, Pike.
Pike.
And welcome to our celebration of one who can truly be said to be one of the best and best-loved actors ever to grace the small screen. Now tonight we'll be basking in the pure magic and surprising variety of Arthur Lowe's Life on the Box, and reflecting on the fact that despite Captain Mannering's rightful place in Comedy's Hall of Fame, the wonderful old curmudgeon wasn't Arthur Lowe's only impressive television creation. Later on in the programme, we'll see grainy black and white footage of Arthur in full flight as Leonard Swinley in Coronation Street, remember him? As well as grainy colour footage of comic characters like Potter and Father Duddleswell in Bless Me Father, not forgetting some full-blooded performances of a legitimate nature, Lovey. Not that Arthur was ever a lovey, far from it, but he was a character, and a character not that far removed from the characters he portrayed, as you'll hear. It's only right that we start this Lohengrin feast with the bank manager who, in his own eyes, hurled back the Hun in World War II.
Now listen to me. We three are the invasion committee. Now the first thing to do is to appoint a properly appointed commander. A what, sir? Appoint a properly appointed commander. That's me. All right? All right. You will be my second in command.
Oh, thank you very much indeed, sir. Thank you.
Physically, he was perfect for the part because he was rather short, so he had to look up to people, look up at people, and that gave him a sort of pomposity, the sort of thing that rather small people have to overcome this business of being inferior to tall people, and that gave him a certain je ne sais quoi.
He brought this authority, which was a very thin authority, but he made out that he knew exactly that, you know, he was in charge.
It's awfully wet in here, isn't it?
Yes. This tarpaulin's full of water from last night's rain.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But don't poke it! Don't poke it! We'll make it worse.
Sorry, sir. So sorry. I beg your pardon.
Why can't you leave things alone, Wilson? How can I work with water dripping all over the place like this? Oh. Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
So sorry, sir. I beg your pardon.
And shut that window.
Right, sir. Right, yes. There we are, sir. Right, is that better?
No, it isn't.
Well, I don't know why you should put up with all this. So why don't you go down to the stockroom? I mean, that hasn't been damaged at all.
Go down to the stockroom?
Yes, why not, sir?
Wilson.
Yes, sir.
You see that chair?
Yeah, yes, I do, sir. Yes,
Well, that's my chair. The manager's chair.
Yes.
This is my desk. The manager's desk.
Yes.
My office. The manager's office.
Yes.
I wasn't made manager overnight, you know. It was a long, hard struggle.
Right, sir.
Office boy, clerk, assistant chief clerk, assistant manager, and finally, manager. It's taken me 25 years to get this office. And there's no redneck beer-swilling foreigner going to throw me out of it.
Comedy is dependent on precise timing. Even the mumbles and the bumbles and the lead up to the tagline have a timing, and he was never wrong with that. So it was thought out, worked out, and instinctive as well. His timing is quite brilliant.
He had a wonderful ability to sort of just let the line and the feed sink in. This is what they used to call a heavenly pause. It's only a third of a second, something, or even less than that. But it's letting a line sink in before he gives the reply.
There's two more of them.
Oh, they're lovely. Hey, everybody, have a look. Look at these lampshades Mrs. Mannering made. Aren't they lovely?
You stupid boy.
I mean, the way he says, this pause, stupid boy, is absolutely hysterical.
That looks a vicious weapon.
No, it's quite harmless. It's only an old tennis ball. Yeah, wouldn't hurt a fly, that. Look.
You stupid boy.
Arthur Lowe was the absolute governor at feeding you a line. I mean, we relied on him completely. You say, why did you do this, or why did you... You know, you had no chance. No chance you couldn't get a laugh when he fed the line.
I brought you men up here because you were the last on duty up here.
Sir.
Our Corporal Jones.
Sir.
You see that word?
Yes, sir.
Have you done that?
Do you mean recently, sir?
Arthur was an actor, a superb comedy actor. If you watch Dad's Army nowadays, actors today don't do those wonderful double takes, the expression, because Arthur is thinking and listening, and all the time you can see in his eyes. It's a craft that he learned over the years as a theatre actor.
Very good, Joan.
Sir?
What have you done to your spectacles?
Oh, it's camouflage, sir. See, I've got very highly coloured eyes, you know, sir. People frequently remark comments about them in the shop. See, look at that, sir, look, see? And I thought to myself, well, if they show up so much in a shop, how much more so much would they show up in the snow?
Yeah. I don't think it was necessary. Nostrils look a bit odd, too.
Dad's Army set in the days where people sort of were a bit in awe of bank managers. You know, they were supposed to be quite something in the local society. And I think Arthur really epitomised all of that he thought, I should have a bit of respect.
This is a friend of mine, Mr. Mannering, Edith Parrish.
Parrish? Have you an occupation, Miss Parrish?
Yes, I'm an usherette.
That's right, down at the Tivoli Cinema. You know, they're the ones with the torches.
Oh, then you must see a lot of pictures.
Oh, yes. I see a lot of other things and all.
Now, where do you live, Miss Parrish?
Down Berwick Road, 35.
Berwick Road.
Yes. I live with my dad. He's 6'3", so don't you go getting any ideas.
That will be all, I think. Thank you, Miss Parrish.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll see that she comes round tomorrow. You shouldn't have said that.
I don't think that's the class of girl we want here at all, Wilson.
In some extraordinary way, he had the command of an audience. And I think it's all part of that, just a moment, you come to me.
Anybody there?
I think the The thing I remember most about Arthur was when he'd fall over or get pushed over and come up with his glasses all awry. He did it so wonderfully well. I always have that picture of him.
I don't think I gave you permission to sit, did I? Yes, Sergeant. You are a soldier, you know.
Yes, of course, yes.
I am an officer.
Yes, right, sir, yes.
You're supposed to be an NCO.
Yes, of course, yes.
Right.
Right.
Very
Right,
well.
right.
Remember.
Ready, Jones? All ready, sharp? England! At the
Dragon once and George nil.
I think after all, we'd perhaps better let Godfrey's sister dip me a suit of armour.
What Arthur always did, of course, he gave a very true performance, and he never tried to be funny. He knew exactly how to be funny, but he was never making a conscious effort to be funny, and which is death to comedy, of course.
Did you ever hear the story of the old empty barn?
No.
Would you like to hear the story of the old empty barn?
Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, it might put us in a good mood before we go to sleep. Pay attention, everybody. Private Fraser is going to tell us the story of the old empty barn. Carry on, Fraser.
Right. Well, the story of the old empty barn. Well, there was nothing in it.
Doing nothing. That was a great thing. He could make you watch him doing absolutely nothing by just sort of that.
I think he was very similar to his Mannering character as a person. I think that's the advantage of having the writing team sort of with him all the time.
Arthur was so easy to write for because Arthur became Mannering and Mannering became Arthur Lowe.
Now, there's one thing I expect all the viewers would like to know. Are you anything like the character you play in Dad's Army, Captain Mannering?
Oh, no. No, certainly not. I'm always being asked this question, and the answer's definitely no. Captain Mannering's a very pompous man, you know. Nothing pompous about me.
That's very interesting, Arthur.
Please, do you mind, Mr. Lowe? I'll tell you something else about Mannering. He's a very fussy chap, real fusspot, you know. Now, that's the last thing I am. There's nothing You cleaned your shoes today?
Why,
Because if they do with a good polish, it's scruffy. Very scruffy indeed, in fact. Do try to stand up straight. Pull your stomach in. Can't tolerate people who let their stomachs stick out.
Arthur was a pompous little man, but the difference was, whereas in Dad's, and I think in lots of other things as well, the bubble of pomposity was pricked by all the people around him. In private life, he burst the bubble himself.
We went out to supper one night, the whole lot of us, and Arthur had had a couple of gins probably in the dressing room before we set off for the restaurant. And we were waiting there, you know, and so forth, and I could see Arthur's. I always knew when Arthur was going to go to sleep a bit, because the eyelids became a bit heavy, you see, and then he'd sort of perk up a bit, and then they'd go again, and he'd do this. But the soup arrived, and suddenly Arthur fell asleep in the soup. But now what he did was, you see, on these occasions, now, it wasn't sort of somebody saying, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry, oh, goodness Lord, have you got a..." Not a bit of it. The vicar's next to him. And, I mean, he comes up, dripping in bits of soup and so forth. I said to the vicar, "There's another thing, vicar, you know, today one has to look at the whole situation, the common market," as if nothing had happened. And this, of course, what made me laugh, made everybody else again.
All local defence volunteers to report to the church hall at 6 o'clock tonight.
I don't know how you do it.
Well, history repeats itself, Wilson. Times of peril always bring great men to the fore. Wellington, Churchill,
Al Jolson.
Arthur was always a pleasure to work with. On the whole, he didn't learn the part very well. He used to learn it in our time, which is a bit tedious. In fact, I remember on one occasion, I think about 3 people rang me up. I think John the Measurer, for instance, and John Laurie, and said, "Look, can't you get to learn the bloody thing, you know?"
And so David Croft said, "Well, look, I'm going to give you 4 scripts. One you can leave here at night, one leave on the underground, one on the bus, and you take the other one and leave it at home." He said, "At home? I wouldn't have this rubbish in my house."
I say, look at the time, Arthur.
Oh, my goodness.
Joe's late.
I bet he's up to some shady business.
Oh, I mustn't judge him too hastily, Jim.
You tend to see him dismiss things before he comes to the actual line he's going to say. And that serves so beautifully that you didn't necessarily laugh at what Arthur, or the character said, what Mannering said. It was what Mannering, or Arthur, decided not to say.
This is cosy. Morning, sir.
Good morning. 2 coffees, please.
Oh, aren't you having coffee with your friend Mr. Wilson this morning?
No, I'm not. I'm having this lady with my coffee. No, I'm 2 coffees, please.
See? I think he knew his lines perfectly. But he had a way of working whereby he looks as if he's bumbling, and this is usually very well worked out. And it takes a very good actor to actually bumble, but he always hits the punchline right on the nose. He's never wrong with it.
And we tell these little stories about Arthur, but there's no one can touch him. If you look at him in anything, giving a comedy performance, I think he is perhaps one of the greatest comedy actors of our time.
Can't you get any answer from us, sir?
No, it's very strange. I think what's happened? I say that cheese looks delicious. Huh?
Yes, it does.
Melts in the mouth.
Is it really?
Elizabeth will be delighted when I take that home. Yes. I wonder where on earth the woman's got... Hello? Elizabeth? Taken a long time to answer, dear. Where have you been? Voicing. She's been down in the air raid shelter. Oh. I thought perhaps we could sleep in the house tonight, dear. I mean, after all, we haven't had a raid for over a week now. Oh, very well. Yes, all right. I might have a little surprise for you tonight. No, I'm both.
Anything the matter, sir?
No. Had her supper and she's going to bed.
Oh, I see.
The character so lovingly created by David Croft and Jimmy Perry, burnished to a gem-like brilliance by the performance of Arthur Lowe. Now, in his early career, Arthur was not only a hugely successful stage actor, he also made over 30 films, including such classics as This Sporting Life, Oh Lucky Man, Kind Hearts and Coronets, in which he starred with the likes of Richard Harris and Peter O'Toole. And by the 1950s, he started to get television work, but it wasn't until 1960 that Arthur first caught the attention of British viewers in Coronation Street as the manager of the drapery store Gamma Garments, Leonard Swinley.
Do you want me, Mr. Swindler?
No, we're having mock fire precautions at 12:30, you know.
Oh, I see. Tra.
Bye, Miss Barlow.
Mrs.
Tatlock. Well, 2 minutes to go.
Mr. Swindley, according to the fire manual, all junior members are supposed to do is just to proceed to a place of safety. So can I just go and have my dinner like usual?
No, I'm afraid you can't. We must do this to the letter. Miss Nugent?
Here.
Now, we all know the drill.
Well, all I have to do is walk through that door.
Ready, steady. Fire, fire. Now, Miss Nugent. No panic.
Swindley was a natural father to Mannering, really, in a way. You could see, yes, he had this little bit of authority, slightly pompous.
He was likeable in the sense that he was a very respectable figure who was trying to do his best under all circumstances.
Love. So glad you could come.
Oh, my pleasure entirely, Miss Nugent.
Did the OS nightgowns arrive after I'd left? I've been expecting them all day.
They'll be here first thing in the morning.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Only we were running very low.
Yes.
I thought
Actually,
you might Oh,
beg your pardon.
no, you were first.
Well, there's nothing really. I was only going to say that I see you have a pineapple. Pineapple.
Yes, perhaps we could sit down now. Everything is ready. Oh, sorry. I'm very fond of fresh pineapple.
Oh, fruit of the gods.
On the personal side, he was very naive and vulnerable. And of course, there was this relationship or non-relationship between Emily and Mr. Swindley. And the wonderful scene where Emily invited him round and proposed to him.
Aren't you afraid of growing old?
Oh, we must all grow old in time, Miss Nugent.
Alone, without companionship?
We all have someone.
I'm glad you think that, Mr. Swindley. It's important to both of us.
It's important to everyone, Miss Nugent.
But I'm a woman. I look for permanence. We have each other, but will we always?
Well, I suppose as long as Mr. Peppergopoulos sees fit to employ us.
Oh, but outside business hours.
Well, we know our interests, ambition, music. These things bring us together beyond the bounds of trade.
Precisely. We share so much. I wonder that we don't share it all. Share our lives. Why don't we join together our interests in nuptial agreement?
Yes, it sounds an excellent plan to me. Most desirable arrangement. Nuptial? Do I understand you to mean marriage, Miss Nugent?
Why not?
Miss Nugent, is it the vintage? Is it the hour?
Mr. Swindley, I'm serious. We could join together in holy matrimony.
We pastors and preachers fly from
Well,
the
we
thing
could
we're not equipped to
work
deal with.
together, side by side.
Oh, no. On the day of judgment, we stand alone.
Oh, but the years till then.
Meditation, Miss Nugent.
Mr. Swindley.
Please, good night, madam.
The memory of Arthur Lowe that is most vivid is Arthur Lowe at the altar being deserted by Miss Nugent.
Jack, what is it? What's happened?
What's the matter? What's up?
It's bad news, Mr. Swindley.
Is she all right?
I'm afraid she's not coming.
She's not coming? But... Is she all right?
She's crying. She says she's sorry.
Apologise for us, Mr. Walker. Say there'll be no wedding. I must go to her. She'll need someone.
And the strength of the acting with this rather ridiculous figure, this rather pathetic figure, managed to transform himself into something rather noble. You felt sorry for him, but not in a pathetic sort of way. You rather admired the way he took it.
Things can't be the same now, can they? The shop and everything.
In time, perhaps. As far as I'm concerned, everything will be the same.
I've made such a fool of you. Well, both of us. Will you cancel the honeymoon and the co-op hall?
Yes, in a moment. Look, will you be all right?
You do look nice in your suit. Really distinguished. Piece of cotton.
That's a very beautiful dress. I don't think I've ever seen
Oh,
you
it's
look
got a
so-
bit crumpled now. It did look nice before. There isn't anything else to say, is there?
See you in the shop, Miss Nugent.
Business as usual.
Yes. Business as usual.
Yes, we've known very many people who, having been abandoned on the altar, went and joined the French Foreign Legion. But Arthur Lowe was one of the few people who, having been abandoned on the altar, went and joined the Home Guard.
To work with, he was absolutely superb. He was perfection, because he was right behind the character. It was all there. Again, that wonderful, impeccable timing.
Offside. That's what they say.
Oh, I beg your pardon, ladies. I couldn't hear the pea rattling inside, so I ventured a short blast, if you'll pardon the expression.
It's a testament to Arthur's comedy instinct that despite the pathos and the aching self-consciousness, he could make Swindley a character you could almost love. In fact, such was his success, the character of Leonard Swindley was given his own spin-off series called Pardon the Expression, which was Swindley's catchphrase. It was this series which directly led to Arthur landing the coveted role of Captain Mannering. And with Swindley and Mannering to his credit, Arthur was to find himself in constant demand for new television comedy roles.
It appears he's looking for Grasmere Road.
Ah, la rue de Grasmere, oui, oui. I remember it well.
Oui, monsieur. Grasmere Road.
Yeah, road, yeah. Oh, yeah, no bother at all. Piece of cake. Un morceau de gâteau.
Well, now he's in good hands. I'll be off.
Merci, madame.
Au revoir, madame. Nice enough, old girl, but take a tip from me, monsieur. When in Angleterre, never take directions from the British Memsahibs.
Memsahib? Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire? Tu sais?
Utter waste of time. No make inquiries par the British female. Anybody with a sense of direction couldn't wear a hat like that.
Je ne sais pas, il dit des bêtises. Monsieur, nous voulons seulement trouver Grasmere Road.
Yes, absolutely, yes. We'll soon have you in Grasmere Road. Now, if monsieur would remount his automobile, eh?
Oh, tais-toi.
Hey, mind the old tit. Not much room in these kiddie cars, is there? Wouldn't do for the Anglo-Saxon, you know.
What about this memo, then?
Oh, never mind. Go away. And slip into something more comfortable.
Oh, this is comfortable.
For whom? Flagstaff? Potter here? Yes, here, in my own factory. Oh, not until 12 o'clock you don't. I'm just beginning to see you in your true colours. And they're very modern. I'm sorry to have to say that. That's not a thing I accuse anybody of lightly. But I'm beginning to fear that I've been forced to sell this family business to one of our more progressive institutions, with all the terrifying abolitions of standard that implies. A family business, Wagstaff, started by my grandfather with little more than a prayer book and a healthy respect for the female staff. Yes, and don't forget that in those days, they were cheap, plentiful, obedient, and smelling not unpleasantly of eucalyptus. I just pressed my intercom and a thing walked in here who not only obviously had no secretarial talent, but was in fancy dress to boot.
Arthur played a lot of authoritative parts, and I think it's because he had authority as an actor. He had that wonderful inner strength that's calm, sits there knowing what it's doing, it's not hurried, rush, or nervy, or twitchy. And that inner authority gives the ability to play outer authority.
You want to hear the latest parish gossip?
I do not.
Suit yourself.
Spring. Spring!
Yes.
Tell me.
I thought you said you didn't want to hear it.
Nor do I. But it's my duty as a parish priest to know what is not going on around here.
Well, it's Father Neil.
Don't tell me he started spreading gossip. He's not talking about me, is he?
The gossip is about Father Neil. Now, it's rumoured by nasty telltales that he's often visiting Molly Downs.
Ridiculous.
Not exactly what I said, but the tongues are really wagging.
Let him wag.
Well, just imagine. Handsome young curate seeing too much of policeman's wife, mother of four while husband's on the beat.
I trust Father Neil as I trust myself.
Oh, come, he's not as unreliable as all that.
Arthur did a one-off Gordon and Simpson playhouse, comedy playhouse, I think, where he was in a lift, a ski lift.
Excuse me for butting in, old chap, but I could not help overhearing. You have not enjoyed your holiday?
Have we met?
Excuse me. Permit me to introduce myself. Heinz Stahlmer.
German?
Yeah.
I see.
From Baden-Baden. And you?
Henry Duckworth from Twickenham.
Twickenham. It's rugger.
What do you know about rugger? Germans don't play rugger.
No, I played it in my school in England.
Yes, well, actually, you don't play it in the school, you play it at the school. I always make a point of correcting foreigners, otherwise they never learn.
Thank you. Oh, this is my wife, Hilde.
Guten Tag, freut mich.
Good afternoon.
Hilde, I'm afraid, does not talk English very well.
Speak.
Speak?
Speak. You speak English. Parrots talk.
Yeah, of course.
Arthur's ability to get inside a comedy character is evident enough, but his performances in serious roles were also impressive. His legitimate stage work found him playing opposite Paul Schofield, Nicol Williamson, Sir John Gielgud, and on television his talent for straight acting encompassed period roles, down-to-earth kitchen sink dramas, and high costume dramas. But behind every performance there was that faint whiff of humour.
Now, new boys, stand up now. Let me look at you. Someday, some long distant day, you will be 1 years, and then 2 years, and then 3 years. You will go away. You will write letters, and I shall try hard to remember you. Then you will become old boys, old cliffhangers. OCs you shall become, and the fruit of your loins shall attend to the school by the water. Leave the room, the boy who laughed.
I think we'd better have a look at that van. Have you got the key?
Well, no. As a matter of fact, the van was nicked.
By you?
Off me. In the town today.
It's as true as I'm standing here.
Why do you not report it then?
Well, I thought perhaps one of the lads had had it, see, so I thought I'd wait.
Oh, aye, the lads. Who are they?
You don't want them for nothing, they've done nothing.
No, as far as we know they haven't. All right. Have to open the back of the van ourselves. Might have to smash it up a bit.
Hey. Wait a minute. Well, what do you think of that? I had the ruddy key all the time.
Put your trousers on.
Now, was Arthur versatile as an actor is an interesting question, because apparently it seems to be so, that he did all these different parts, from Swindley to Mannering and Potter and so on. But in fact, it was always Arthur inside that went through. And he's a strange paradox here, because the French have they categorise them. The actors who put on the makeup and get the character from the outside, the character actor, and the one who comes from the inside, that's usually the matinee idol. Now, oddly enough, Arthur came from the inside, had this inner authority, but was a character actor. And I think this is what made him different and very special and very true.
We'll take a glass, Copperfield.
Thank you, Mr. Micawber.
A libation to the gods of
chance and fortune. Emma, my dearest.
Oh, just a small glass, if you please.
I am older than you, my young friend. A man of some experience in life, of some experience in difficulties. At present, and until something turns up, which, as I say, I am hourly expecting, I have nothing to bestow but advice. Still, my advice is worth taking. Had I taken it myself, I would not be the miserable wretch you now behold.
Oh, dear Micawber.
I say again, the miserable wretch you now behold. My advice is this. Never do tomorrow what you can do today. Procrastination is the thief of time. Collar him.
But despite his versatility and the many memorable characters he created, Arthur remains best loved as Captain Mannering, a role for which he'll always be remembered. Arthur played him for 9 years, making 81 sparkling episodes, and such was the impact of that honourable man, bristling with pomp and indignation, that even 30 years after it was first aired, everyone you speak to can immediately bring to mind their fondest Captain Mannering moment.
One of my most favourite episodes of Dad's Army was the send-up or spoof that they did on Brief Encounter when Carmen Silvera comes into the Mum's Army, we were called, and Arthur, Captain Mannering, falls for her. I mean, it was just lovely. And the arrogance of the man to take his glasses off when really he couldn't see a thing. I mean, it was just so sweet. It was lovely.
Oh, good morning, Captain Mannering.
Oh, good morning. What a surprise. Won't you join me?
Oh, thank you. I haven't seen you in here before.
Oh, I get him from time to time, you know, when I can get my nose away from the grindstone.
Yes, please.
Ah, thank you. Oh, no, I don't want any of that, thank you. I beg your pardon.
Oh, no, thank you. Just coffee for me as usual, please.
Ah, what a good idea, yes. Just coffee, please. They used to do some wonderful Devonshire teas here, you know.
Oh, with jam and cream.
Oh, yes, that's right. I remember just after the First World War, another chap and I borrowed a flivver and took a spin out here to Anne's Pantry just for the sake of the Devonshire teas. I got the rough end of my governor's tongue when I got back, I can tell you. He thought I'd toddle off with a bit of fluff.
It was all harmless fun in those days.
Yes, of course it was. Mind you, we used to set the pace now and again, you know.
Do you know, your whole face lights up when you laugh. I think you're really a very jolly person at heart.
Without a doubt, my favourite scene with Arthur, with other actors, was in the episode The Deadly Attachment, where they were looking after a U-boat crew for the night.
The fish and chip shop still open?
Yeah, I think so. Why?
Here's 10 shillings. Go and buy some for the prisoners.
Oh, right. Right. Now then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. 8 cotton chips.
I want place.
Right. It's 1 place and chips, 7 cotton chips. Right, who wants vinegar?
Also aufpassen. Wie viele von euch wollen Essig?
1, 2, 3, 4 of vinegar. Who wants salt?
So bitte mal aufpassen, wie viele von euch wollen Salz?
1, 2, 3 for salt. Who don't want salt or vinegar?
Also zum dritten Mal, wie viele ohne Salz oder Essig?
That's 2 without salt or vinegar. Here, come here. Just see if I've got this right. Now, you want place and chips. They're going to have cotton chips, and that's 4 with vinegar, 3 with salt, and 2 without salt or vinegar.
What are you doing?
I'm taking the order.
And I don't want any nasty, soggy chips. I want mine crisp und light brown.
Crisp und
Never
light...
mind that rubbish. Forgive me, if I say you'll eat soggy chips, you'll eat soggy chips.
There was an episode in Dad's Army in which he played both himself, Captain Mannering, and his ne'er-do-well brother. And of course it was partly a television trick, one actor playing 2 parts of very different characters. But this did for Captain Mannering things that no other episode did, I think, because you understood the true man.
Oh, it's you. I thought it might be. Well, Betty, been a long time. 15 years. By the looks of you, you haven't changed much. Neither of you. Bullface. Stop. Well, what do you want? If it's money you've come for, you're out of luck.
All right. Keep your rag on.
You want a drink? No, thank you. Please yourself. I should have thought 5:30 in the afternoon was a bit early, even for you.
Bullface. Look at you. Swirled umbrella, striped trousers, pot hat.
But you've got on, haven't you? I'm the branch manager.
Oh. Nice for you. Put your hand in the till when you get a bit short, do you?
Ridiculous. Look, you'd better come to the point. I have an important affair to see to at 7:30.
An important affair? Is she blonde?
How dare you. It's a sherry party for senior officers and civic dignitaries.
Don't get drunk. Runs in the family.
It certainly does not.
Does in my bloody branch.
I think his main talent was the amazing truth of his performance, really, and the integrity that he brought to a character.
He made me laugh off stage with this dry humour, and I just thought he was a lovely character.
A true professional, really professional artist, and a joy to work with. We'll never see his like again, unfortunately. I can think of no one that could replace him.
Many actors I've seen try to impersonate Arthur Lowe, but none can get his touch.
We all loved Arthur, but what is notable about him, he was a very, very charming man and quite lovable.
Warm and likeable, and yet slightly vulnerable. And he had it all. And this is why I can watch him over and over again, because you can learn from him all the time. Or you can sit back and enjoy him.
Would you please oblige us with the Bren gun? We need one rather badly, I'm afraid. Our local crossword solver has an excellent revolver. But during a short attack on a fort, the trigger got mislaid. In course of operation planned for Friday afternoon, our orders are to storm the Hippodrome. So if you can't oblige us with a Bren gun, the home gun might as well go home. Oblige us with the Bren gun, the lack of one is wounding to our pride. Last night we saw the cutest little German parachutist who looked at our kit, giggled a bit, and laughed until he cried. We'll have to hide that armored car when marching to Berlin. We'd almost be ashamed of it in Rome. So if you can't oblige us with the Bren gun, the home gun might as well, the home gun might as well, the home gun might as well go home.
You stupid boy.